Here now is Matt Austin and Ginger Gadsden with Florida's Fourth Estate. Sponsored by Light Orlando, delivering hope together.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Florida's Fourth Estate, where today we are going to invite you to come fly with us. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
Yeah, doesn't that sound awesome? My name's Matt Austin. We're going to do something I never knew was possible to do in the state of Florida. I thought this was a place where you glide off a mountain and then you get these amazing eagle-like views of hang gliding. Well, it turns out you can do it in Florida. In fact, one of the busiest hang gliding spots maybe in the world, we're told, is in Florida. But you have to do it in a bit of a different way. It's pretty exciting. So we brought in the man, the myth, the legend. We have Malcolm Jones. He is with the Wallaby Ranch, and he teaches a lot of people how to hang glide. Malcolm, first off, thank you so much for joining us for our humble podcast.
No problem.
Oh, man. It's good to have you. So kind of explain to us, are people shocked when you say you can hang glide in the flattest state in the world, pretty much?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, I first got into hang gliding many years ago, and it did mean traveling. Although I learned towing up behind a boat, like you'd see in a ski show back in the 70s. But hang gliding was by and large grew in the mountains. But as they evolved and as ultralight technology evolved, you had some planes slow enough that you could tow hang gliders like they tow sailplanes. So it's actually more practical to do in the flatlands. It's all about thermaling, and the mountains just create turbulence. So it's better here. Much easier to learn, that's for sure.
It looks magical. We're looking at the video right now of a tandem a hang gliding experience. But tell us how we get to this point, Malcolm. Matt was saying it's a way that you didn't expect to do it. You get towed by a plane first.
Sure. We aero tow up behind an airplane in a glider built for two. The wheels are attached, so the instructor and the student are off the ground from start to finish, and you roll out and you roll in. There's really no impact. It's not like a skydiving sort of a landing. The entire wing is built before you left the ground. You tow up to 2,000 feet, you release from the rope, and you glide around. I let the first timer fly the glider. There's nothing to run into up there. And then I take it over and land it. It's absolutely magical. And you're having a conversation like this the whole time. It's not loud. It's very peaceful and serene.
Okay, I feel like if I get into this situation and you're going to be on my back, we're going to get to know each other very well, my friend. How come you get to be the big spoon in this whole situation? So that when you start, you have to do a tandem, obviously, right?
Yeah, you're in a harness. You're in two separate harnesses. You'll be happy to know. And one is a little bit higher and staggered, and you're not directly over the person, but you are right next to them, and it makes it really easy to communicate. When someone wants to learn, it's just a matter of multiple tandems until they're doing it, and basically they're taking an instructor for a ride. But a lot of the flights we do are just discovery flights. So I always teach as much as I can and let the person fly it as much as possible, because it makes it more fun and it's amazingly easy.
Yeah. Okay. So you fly over your own property, right? Your place is called Wallaby Ranch. So tell us how big it is. And I know you say you get up to 2,000 feet. Can you go higher? And how long can you stay up there?
You can easily go higher, but it seems to be the point of diminishing returns as far as a repeat tandem, because, just as far as fatigue and impact of the experience, it's quite easy just to go again and to take two flights to 2,000 feet. But you can tow farther and just tow twice as long and go to 4,000 feet. It's just a matter of the time. And we take off out of our field here, the field's about 150 acres, but it's in the middle of a parcel that's about 500 acres. And we bought it in 1991, and we've been doing the same thing out here for 30 years. And it's very, very established. We've done more of it than anywhere in the world. And in all the tandems we've ever done, we've never put a scratch on a sole. People are always intimidated. They think it's going to be something really dangerous and crazy. But the way we do it, and we're very picky about the weather conditions, it's got to be just right. And we've truly never put a scratch on a sole. And doesn't mean much unless you add to the fact that we've also done more of it than anywhere in the world.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. So people don't get hurt while they're out there. You're doing a tandem. Obviously, I guess if somebody went out on their own, you can't really control that. But while you're in a tandem situation, it feels like a lot could go wrong. Like I took a hot air balloon ride one time and they were like, basically, we don't know where we're going to land. We're just going to hopefully get lucky. And I was like, wait a second, what? Is it similar to a hang glider or do you have more control?
The balloon is not similar to a hang glider, although ironically, they use my field to take off and land here a lot. And so I'm real familiar with all the local balloon operators. Most of them operate in this area. And they're always picking a spot to take off because it doesn't take much room to take off. They're always picking a spot that'll have them end up here because I got a big mode field and the gate's always open and I'm friendly and I think balloons are cool. So, I'm not in that business, but they're here a lot. We're often hang gliding around the balloons. They're always early in the morning. They're even more sensitive to weather conditions than the hang gliders are.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what's the best time of day to do that? Because, Florida has some pretty temperamental weather various times of the year. So when is your busy season the best time of day to take off?
Well, especially in the summer when you get these thunderstorms in the afternoon, early and late is the best time when the sun is at a shallow angle because it's the sun that creates the thermals and it's thermals that create the turbulence. And you want to do the tandem flight in smooth air. Early and late is best, and we generally start between 7:30 and 8 a.m. 7 days a week.
Man, and they are busy out there. I am very interested in how you land these things because it feels like it would be rough. And I know we have some video of the landing. I'm sorry if you're just listening to this, but we've been watching this gorgeous footage of Malcolm doing a tandem ride all around his gorgeous property down near Champions Gate. How does the landing process work, my friend?
Well, it's a good question. You set yourself up with a open space in front of you, and you come in with the wings level, and you slowly slow it down until you're almost at a stall, and the wheels are like an inch off the ground, and you roll in, and it's truly smoother than the best airliner landing you ever experienced.
Wow.
There's no impact at all. You just roll in. That was my main idea that's created the whole thing is creating a hang gliding school around the concept of wheels attached to the glider. That's what didn't really exist before the ranch.
Yeah, it is if anyone has ever been skydiving, you know that when you land on your feet, it can be kind of a rough and tumble landing. But you say you're in these little body sacks, right? And so you just kind of glide along the ground there and it's perfect. Do you land in the same place every time? Because I have a problem with directions and just looking, I'm like, how does he know where he is? And I know it's, hundreds of acres, and it's your property, so you know it intimately. I wouldn't be able to figure it out if I'm solo.
Well, by the time you solo, you would. And they're very easy to control and steer and put exactly where you want, or you won't be going solo yet. And we do land in various spots. It depends on the wind direction. We go to whatever edge of the field is downwind and take off into the wind and in turn land into the wind. That gets the ground speed as slow as possible. And if it's calm, of course, it doesn't matter. But the less wind, the better.
Here's what I want to know. Who the heck are you? Like, what? You just decided to buy 500 acres out, and back 30 years ago, very little things were down there near Champions Gate. The property looks gorgeous, and you came up with this idea in Florida to have a hang gliding school. Please explain yourself, sir.
It's a little crazy. I mean, I'm a bit of an anomaly. I grew up in Tampa and grew up water skiing and got into flying the little ski kites behind the boat. At the time, they called them Delta Wing ski kites, but they're really just tiny hang gliders. Then I moved to California and traveled to Australia and New Zealand and all over the place flying hang gliders. And I've figured out a way to make a living with hang gliders my whole life. And when aero towing evolved, which was originally started in France, but not with the wheels attached to the gliders. We started aero towing, and I realized, you know what, this is really opened it up. I can go back home. And Florida's where I was born and raised, and Florida's where I wanted to be. So I took the land. Everybody thought I was crazy, and I suppose, it was a little crazy, but I figured, some real estate halfway between Orlando and Tampa, two of the fastest growing metropolitan areas in the world. How bad can it be? And
Right.
it worked. It actually worked, and I don't regret a bit of it. And I've had a ton of fun and met thousands of people and taught thousands of people how to fly, and I still love it. And it's it was a risk, but it was one of those that worked out. It's a nice piece of property, and we have all kind of fun out here. I mean, we have big parties, and we have musical events, and we have Boy Scout jamborees, and everybody that's in the club, their families, their birthdays, and it's a community actually.
It worked out really well.
lives here.
Everybody that works for you lives there on the 500 acres you have?
Everybody that works for
Really?
me lives on the property.
From a passion for hang gliding to starting a hang gliding commune, after the break, we learn more about how he runs his business and the big name celebs that have hit the sky with him. Stay with us. Welcome back to Florida's Fourth Estate. We are sitting down with the man behind an epic hang gliding experience in Central Florida. How he turned his love for flight into a hang gliding commune right outside Disney.
Everybody that works for
Really?
me lives on the property, so we're here 24/7, and we just live by the weather. When it's nice, we're flying, and when it's not, we're mowing
Wow.
and fixing tractors and working on airplanes and stuff.
The downside, no
yeah.
sick days.
Yeah, I know. Like, hey, boss.
The weather gives us time off, but it is an unusual place. I mean, it's a hang gliding commune, and it's a hang gliding club, and it's a hang gliding school.
It
What
looks
Tiffany witnessed the
beautiful.
other day is the school part, where you take people up and show them what it's all about.
Tiffany,
And
our
it's so much
producer.
it's so
Yeah.
much easier and simpler than you'd ever expect. And I hope you guys get out here. We're only here
Oh,
every day.
I was saying, do not threaten us with a good time because
Yeah.
we're coming out.
I mean, with these
Yeah, okay.
visuals we're seeing, it feels
I
like, Ginger,
know.
we have to go.
We're going. Tell us a little bit about what, like when someone does it tandem and then they kind of say, I would love to be able to do this solo or learn how to fly myself. Can you tell if someone's going to do a good job or what makes a person, really good at it?
Well, truthfully, looking at them, you can't tell. You think that the Joe Jock guy is going to learn faster than the nerd guy with the pocket liner, but it doesn't work out that way. Some people take to it really easily, and some people don't. I don't know if you've ever taught anybody how to water ski or something.
Mhm.
Some people pick it right up, and some people fall 15 times. Both people can learn. So there's a big difference in how long it takes someone to learn. If they've flown airplanes or they've been involved in some other kind of aviation, it comes faster to them. But the average person takes about 20 tandem instructional flights if they get solo
Oh,
to get solo.
Have you
okay.
ever had anyone freak out once they're up there though?
Oh, I
That's a
bet.
very common question. You surprisingly, not often. People, however scary they think it's going to be, it's less scary than that. The scariest part for everybody who's never done it is right at first. And as soon as the wheels come off the ground, they're like, oh, okay. Because sometimes, one guy's going and somebody else in the group was only thinking about it, but they've watched a few people land, an old lady and a little kid, and they're like, oh, okay, I'll try it, because it's so much more mild than what they were imagining the night before at the bar. Yeah, but they're apprehensive, and I say, look, we don't have to go all the way up. We'll get to 50 feet. If you don't like it, I'll release and land. And then we get to 20 feet, and they're like, oh no, I'm fine.
Let's do this.
Let's go
Yeah.
all the way up. So it's so much more pleasant than what they were expecting. You never get a freak out. Any freak out is right there before we launch. I have had a couple of kids and a couple of folks get in the harness. They get strapped up. We're all ready to go. And they're, I can't do it. And I say, I'm not in the business. I don't like scaring people. So I say, no pressure. And we just don't do it. But anyone that has allowed you the chance to get airborne, even the slightest amount, I've never had one of them back out and freak out in the air.
Oh, that's fascinating. In 30 years,
That is-
too. So
Never.
if I wanted to get into hang gliding, is it really expensive? What if you wanted to buy your own hang glider? It seems like it'd be expensive.
Well, it's certainly less expensive than any other kind of aviation.
No, that's true.
It's going to cost you. It's going to cost you more than skateboarding. But at the same time, people spend a lot more money hunting and fishing with these big boats. I mean, you can buy a nice used entry level hang glider for $4,000 or $5,000, and
Okay.
the tandem instruction is going to cost you about $2,000 by the time you solo on average.
So that's in total for your 20 lessons or something like that?
Yep. Yep, you can go once. You can go once for $175, but if you buy a package of 20 up front, there's a big discount. You can get it. You can get 20 for $2,000. It gets them down to $100 a piece. And it's not really hours, but it's tandem instructional flights. Of course, we do ground school. As you can see, we kind of do the ground school under the trees here usually, and that's all included. But the whole time you're flying, you're talking like this. So there's a lot of ground school that happens at the same time as you're flying. It's a totally magical thing. I'm telling you. You need to give it a shot.
It
Gosh,
sounds like it. It
he's
really
talking
does.
us into it, Gigi. It feels like we got to do it.
That happened 10 minutes ago. Did that?
You had me at hello, Malcolm.
We've had some people out here. You'd be surprised. I mean, Mike Rowe, you know, the guy that does the Dirty Jobs.
Dirty
show.
Jobs, yeah.
He came out and did a piece on it, and he was actually doing a piece on a balloon, on a balloon operator, and they landed here, and he goes, "What the hell?" And
This place is cool.
That was in the morning, and we signed him up. He stayed here all day, had lunch with us, and did some tandems, and just did a whole piece on us, and loved it. We shot a sequence for a Kate Hudson movie out here. So they did one of her rom-com movies. It was called A Little Bit of Heaven. They had a hang gliding sequence. They were filming here for several days. We had 2 gliders up in the sunset. It was kind of a romantic interlude in the film. And we've had Al Roker did a piece on us, and you know, Today Show's been out here, and I had some big time Google executives fly out and their citations to come out and learn how to fly hang gliders. I've met people from all over the world. That's the coolest thing about hang gliding. You'll get a guy that's a plumber that's ate up with it, and a guy that's a brain surgeon that's ate up with it, and everybody in between has something really. People that wouldn't normally get together that have something really emotional in common.
Okay, so when you're up there solo, do you just, I mean, I would imagine there are times where you just go up and you just like being alone. What is it like up there when you're just able to take it all in?
It's quiet. It's a real sense of freedom, and you can't hardly worry about what else is going on in the world. You know, what else is going on in life, issues at work or making money or family. You can't worry about anything because you're totally focused on flying. That's one of the most magical things about it. It takes you out of the everyday world. We're almost out of the real world out here now already. I try to stay on this side of the mailbox.
Malcolm, I'm glad that you finally graduated from the Today Show and Mike Rowe, and you got to be on Florida's Fourth Estate. I mean, you've taken a step down.
You've upped your game. You've upped your game with this interview.
But man, now this was so cool, man. I appreciate you taking the time to tell us about it, to show us these visuals, because I don't think, even though you've been on all of those things, seems like something a lot of people don't know about, and I am glad we're getting to tell people about it.
Yeah, it's amazing how unknown we are locally, really. So much of my business is from outside the state and outside the country. Because there's very few places, you know, there's a lot of beautiful places in the world to fly hang gliders, but there's very few places to learn. So, you know.
Okay.
Come on out and hang out under the tree of forgiveness here, and I'll teach you how to fly.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. The tree of forgiveness. We could all use that.
Behind it. That's so great.
we're all into John Prine out here. That was his last album.
Oh, cool. All right.
Very nice. It's so zen. You seem so just
I know.
I feel my blood pressure went down just doing this interview. So thank you.
Thanks. I'm a lucky guy.
I appreciate it. Maybe she won't yell at me today. Malcolm Jones, thank you so much for guiding us through this trip. Ginger and I, we're going to go out there, and we have to do it now after talking to you. I'm excited about it. So you got a good...
You're going to love it.
Oh, yeah. I
don't see any morning, give me a call. 1-800-WALLABY.
1-800-WALLABY. That's how people can...
1-800-WALLABY.
Okay, before we let you go, what is the easy... Is that how it is? Call 1-800-WALLABY? Are you messing with me right now?
No, I'm not messing with you. That'll forward to my cell phone, and I always answer the phone. And we have our website is wallaby.com.
Wallaby.com. Thank you so much.
He's a businessman. Do you think he's going to give you some bad address or phone number?
That's a really good phone number. You don't hear good 800 numbers anymore.
We've been around a long time. It wasn't as many people are like, how did you ever get wallaby.com? When we got that, nobody even knew what a website was when we signed up for that.
Wow.
Smart.
That's great. That's great.
Things change.
Well, Malcolm, we hope to see you in the near future on the ground and then up in the air.
Yeah, when you're the big spoon.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Our pleasure. We really enjoyed this, my friend. Thank you so much.
And thank you for watching Florida's Fourth Estate. You can download it from wherever you listen to podcasts or watch anytime on News 6 Plus.